Good afternoon, Xbox Nation. Welcome to the Xbox Factor podcast. I am one of your hosts, MrBooMStickXL, and of course, with me, as usual, the co-host with the most, my partner, my brother, the Welsh Gamer. Welcome to the show.
Sound and Boom, it's been a chaotic day for me. Safe to say I've pulled out at least 20% of my hair, and so I can loosen up for this show because I'm excited but need to calm down. I got myself a nice Guinness.
Well,
Guinness
listen,
yes.
that sounds very tasty. I just got back from the gym a little while ago. I am drinking some Poland Spring. It is still a little early, and anyway, I don't drink, but enjoy the Guinness nonetheless. Now, today's epic show, and it's going to be a good one, is being sponsored by the incredible XboxGamerPicks.com. This one-of-a-kind website is your one-stop shopping experience, and if you're looking for that something unique and personalized for your favorite gamer, YouTuber, or community member, look no further. The site is owned and managed by the graphic god of MNC Mornings and Retro Renegades fame. His work is flawless, and he has done avatars for this channel, the Welsh Gamer, and the Mod of the World or Universe, UK Dazarus. I highly recommend him, and his pricing fits every budget. So before you hit that like button, or after you hit that like button, please go to Xbox Gamer Picks today to see if J Dubs can give your avatar that something special it has been missing. Now, before we get into the topics, I have to give a couple of shout outs. Okay, I think it's very important. When it comes to running a YouTube channel, in itself can be a lot of work, especially when you have 3 to 4 shows that include breaking news, opinion pieces, and talking about all 3 consoles objectively without falling into the tropes of the console war. And at the same time, avoiding the landmines that is something very similar to walking a tightrope. Having help from the community, or should I say the incredible community, is important. And a lot of the times, when you say industry insiders, you talk about people in the business. Well, I want to talk about community insiders, the people on the front lines of Twitter who don't have big YouTube channels, but somehow or another always find that unique story that I happen to miss. Drew, you've been on the receiving end of information, but I want to give a couple of the community members the proper shout out that they deserve. Members like Old School G, The Finest, D Black Raven, Stubbs Gaming, and Shan 786 of Twitter certainly lessen the load. And I have to say a big thank you for all of the information that they have provided this particular channel throughout my entire 1 year doing it. If you're not following them on Twitter, I highly suggest that you do. Not only are they quality community members, but they really do have a knack for finding that information that we're all looking for. Now, with that said, there's one gamer/insider that has been making some real waves recently, and he just posted something that had me chopping at the bit to talk about on this show. And he's known on Twitter as Clobriel. His bio says, "I'm a gamer and a developer, and that's all I guess, huh? Sometimes I try to make the gaming world a little bit better," and indeed he does. And this is what we're going to talk about 2 of his posts, but here's the first one. A beloved Xbox IP game you have probably played in the last 4 years or so will get its bold second next-gen title. The successor is deep in development, and I expect you will hear about it around 2020. Now, Drew, I have to go to you on this immediately. Alrighty. This is big. And I want to hear what you have to say more than anything. But what game or games would you put into this category of what could be getting a part 2 that we all want?
Okay, right. Okay. Well, I'll get to what I want in a moment. But the guy was quite cryptic, this Clobriel, And and what narrowed it down was the fact that he said in the last 4 years. When you think about it like that, and then Beloved and stuff like that, you've got Sunset Overdrive 2 on. I've got a few things, but I put in brackets Insomniac have already confirmed development of Spider-Man 2.
Right.
So that kind of narrows that down, as in like that might not be the case. I've got Quantum Break 2, but Remedy has already come forward on numerous occasions and said, we are waiting on Microsoft for the green light, as it's their IP. Not Microsoft's IP, it's Remedy's IP, but in order... it is Xbox's IP, but Remedy make it, so
correct.
They're waiting for the green light to make that, but obviously, and they only said that like the last couple of months, so I don't think it's Quantum Break 2. Recore 2 is another game that is exclusive that came out in the last 4 years. But as far as I know, because I haven't really played much of Recore, I don't think it's that critically acclaimed. Is it not? I don't think it's like
I would agree there.
Banger.
I would agree there.
Yeah, and that's not saying it's a bad game. It's just for me, this Clobriel guy, I don't think he'd be putting out a leak or a tweet trying to hype up some game that's been played in the last 4 years for Recore. Something that for me didn't scream like it needs a sequel immediately, at least no hype behind it. So that leaves this one now that I've got, Rise Son of Rome.
Oh, now we're talking, brother.
So, Rise Son of Rome is a game that I want. So back on, like I said, I'd get to the bit that I wanted. Rise Son of Rome, for me personally, needs a sequel. And I see no reason for it not to have a sequel. And what Clobriel said definitely gets me excited for Rise. But this is the kicker, Boom. The guy, Clobriel, said this is a game you would have played in the last 4 years, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Rise Son of Rome came out in 2013, which was in fact 5 years ago.
Right.
So I don't know. The only 4 things I could come up with for this list of games, which I've got Sunset Overdrive 2, Rise 2, Quantum Break 2, and Recore 2. At this point, mate, whereas I want it to be Rise, I'm in no position to say which one of those 4 games it could be, because I've put a significantly plausible reason next to each one as to why that game's kind of been cancelled out of the possibility list.
Okay. So, dude, let me tell you something. Sherlock Holmes has nothing on you. Let me just tell you that right now.
So, mate, all I can say is, where's out of the 4, I'd be happy with any one of them, but I'd want out of all 4 there to be a Rise 2. But if you're asking me which one's the most likely, I can't answer that question, because I'm absolutely at a loss. Sadly, I kind of made it impossible for any one of those to, by just digging a little deeper into the old YouTube, reading into Clobriel's.
You got yourself excited, then shot yourself in the foot is basically what you're saying.
Mate, exactly. I just hope I'm wrong. I hope it is any one of those I mentioned. More importantly, I hope it's Rise. But I want to hear what you have to say, Boom, because hopefully you've got something to say that.
I have something really good. And first and foremost, I have to shout out Michael Johnson with the $5 super chat. And him and I talk all the time. And he is a good dude. And if you're not following him, please give this guy a follow. He is what I would consider as quality as community member as you can get. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he donates to the show. That's irrelevant. He's just a good dude that loves gaming. But him and I are on the same page, and I have one particular game that not only do I have the actual arcade stick that's worth about $500, it is one of my favorite arcade fighting games of all time. And Michael Johnson says Killer Instinct 2 would get me to buy an Xbox Scarlet day one, just like Killer Instinct got me to buy an Xbox One on day one. And I am right there with him. See, I think... And we've heard prior to E3, we heard prior to XO18 that we were going to get a reveal of sorts from Killer Instinct 2. Is one of my, if you remember when we did the show, Drew, it was one of my picks. Killer Instinct 2, a proper Killer Instinct 2, has supposedly been in development for quite some time. So he says deep development. So I'm thinking that even though I would love for it to be Rise Son of Rome 2. Sunset Overdrive 2, Quantum Break 2, even a new Alan Wake. I would be through the moon to get a game, to get one of those. I think we're going to get a proper Killer Instinct 2 as a launch title, PS, by the way, for the Xbox One X2 in 2020 when it launches. But you know what, Drew? If you have nothing else, I kind of want to talk about his second tweet because it's a big deal.
Yeah, no, I just boom. You're never going to want to see me come back to the show ever again when I say what I'm about to say.
No, please go ahead, say it. You're entitled.
Everything you just said makes perfect sense. Like I imagine at some point we will get a Killer Instinct 2, but I do not think that is the game Clobberil was on about because I just quickly Googled on my phone while you were speaking, and Killer Instinct for the Xbox One came out
His launch
November
title,
2014.
Yeah, it did.
And he did say games that have come out in the last 4 years.
Yeah. So
that
listen,
pretty much only narrows it down for me from what I've found online to Sunset Overdrive 2, Quantum Break 2, or Recall 2.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're 100% right. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think Mike will get sequels to every game we mentioned. But his second tweet is important. And here's what he had to say. He's quoting Russ Bullock, who is the president and executive producer of Piranha Games. And this is what he had to say. There's a lot going on I can't really say. I will say I'm going to Seattle, Washington, and I'm visiting Microsoft headquarters, and this will not be the first conversation I've had with them. There have been at least a half a dozen this year. Now, why is that important? Well, we know that Mech Warrior 5 is coming out. We have heard that it is possible that Mech Warrior 5 could somehow become an exclusive to the Xbox platform, but we don't know. This is only rumors, right? Take everything with a grain of salt. More importantly, we have heard that Mech Assault, if you remember what that was a very excellent title on the OG Xbox. I own both of them, Mech Assault 1 and 2. It was, in my opinion, one of the finer games on that console. It would be, I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm not a genius by any stretch of the truth here, folks, but I'm going to tell you that we know that Mech Warrior 5 looks to be incredible. Who better to make the next Mech Assault than a developer that knows how to, knows their way around a giant mech? Drew, what are your takeaways from what he had to say and what I'm saying?
To be honest, mate, straight up, I'm just going to say this. I just hope, if there's even a glimpse of hope of a Mech Assault, I want them to bring that back. I don't care who does it. I don't care if it's not coming till like Xbox Scarlet. I take your time with it. I just want to see a Mech Assault because, frankly, it makes me think of Titanfall 1 when we talk about this whole mechs thing.
Yes.
Titanfall 1, I think what made me fall in love with it was not only like the cloud being used with all the UIs and the whole battlefield being utilized by a mixture of actual people like MP, a multiplayer PvP plus PvAI, all that, but getting into the mechs and the Titans and stuff, like it just, I think that's why Titanfall 1 will probably forever be the best out of all the Titanfalls, because I think it ticked a big tick on a lot of people's checklist when the Xbox first came out. And I think deep rooted, whether people know it or not, people want to admit it or not, I think it was that nostalgic feeling of jumping in a mech. And the guys behind at Respawn hit the nail on the head. They might not have initially expected it to go this way, but I do think that's what they might have been going for, or just by accident they stumbled on that. But I think a lot of Xbox fans who are fans of the original games need to see Mech Assault come back, and what better time, because I think that would be an awesome addition to like the library, the catalog of different games that Xbox has to offer, different genres, different types, and Xbox is the best place for multiplayer if you're a multiplayer gamer.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said.
I'd love to see mate. All I can say is this is good news. If there's even a slightest glimmer of hope that there's another Mech Assault coming, I'm all for it. Bring it on.
Yeah, I think that it's one of those franchises that, when you look back at Xbox as a whole, right? You go back to OG Xbox, you look at the Xbox 360. There were a lot of titles on the OG Xbox that, in my opinion, deserve a fresh coat of paint. Especially with the way that development is in 2018, those titles could be realized in a way that we've never seen. And I think personally, that's one of them. I would love to see a modern Crimson Skies. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers that game. I bought it because it's backwards compatible. It is an amazing title. It still looks incredible on the X. And again, they have a lot of those. I hate to use the word niche because, remember, when the Xbox came out, it was up against the PlayStation 2, and I believe it was the GameCube at the time. They were the odd man out, pretty much like what we're dealing with right now. They're in third place, and they're gonna, they have the potential to really throw down the dominoes, if you will, in the next generation, which it's all looking like that's going to happen. But real quick, Al Hogan, once again, with the $20 super chat, he says, "Boom, my brother in blue and the man from across the pond, love your show and love the content. Keep up the good work, Al. I cannot thank you enough. And like I always say to you, watch your 6 and sign out at the end of tour. Those are the two most important things when wearing the uniform. But thank you for your support." Anyway, listen, Drew, we have a lot to go through. And if you have nothing else, I need to talk about the next topic because it's a big one.
I have one thing to say. Shout out to Shizno Elite. He said Crimson Skies is still fun as hell.
Yes.
Then he went on. No, I completely agree. But he went on to say OG Xbox has awesome games. Now that literally that sentence there is so simple in a sense. One glance, you think, "Oh no, good point, Shizno." But if you read into that just that little bit more, which I'm about to, it says so much because Xbox is sitting on some absolute gems. You just mentioned,
yes, they certainly are.
Crimson Skies. If they got all these studios, all these new acquisitions, literally, man, like they got so many good games they could revive at any time. That's all I can say.
Well, I mean, you look at what Rare did, for instance, and I can't. My God, I'm so terrible. There was an Xbox 360 launch game with the female that controlled all those different beasts. My
Cameo.
God, what is it? Yes, Cameo. Thank you, sir, for the save. Let me tell you something right now. Okay, that I believe it's in the Rare collection. I'm going to tell you this as a listen. If you're following me on YouTube, if you're following me on Twitter, it means one of two things. One, you like what I'm talking about, and two, you trust my opinion. Cameo is a very, very underrated and underappreciated open world in its earliest days kind of title. Give it a shot. I guarantee you that game will raise some eyebrows. Looked gorgeous. The character, she was a very, very powerful character that you actually gave a shit about, and all the beasts that she had at her fingertips were amazing. Again, I would love to see a Cameo too. I know that a very long time ago it was in development and it got scrapped. That was a real shame. Dude, let me tell you something. Microsoft as a company has so much in the vault besides Halo, Gears, and Forza. It's bananas. I mean, would you agree with that statement, Drew?
Oh, mate, like I said, again, big shout out to Shizno Elite. What he said, while simple and accurate, had so much more meaning. They literally are sitting on a gold mine. If they at any point wanted to just be like, yeah, bring back Cameo, bring back Mech Assault, bring back Crimson Skies, bring back Perfect Dark, I could name probably 10 more that were OG classics. They'd be unstoppable. And that's on top of whatever they are working on with these 7+ new acquisitions since E3.
Yeah, I mean they have a lot at their fingertips. One particular acquisition that we're going to talk about is Obsidian. And they did something very special during the VGAs last week. They announced the title of their new IP that will be launching on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC in 2019. Now, it's no surprise that the question of future exclusivity from loads of gamers on the PS4 side, that they wanted to know that if this title is a big success like I'm expecting it to become, would they be getting the sequel? And the easy answer is no. And here's why. In a tweet from Verdict, who on Twitter is, I like the dude. I think that he is a very good community member. He does seem to like PlayStation a little bit more, but he does own an Xbox, and he has tweeted positively about both. So if you're interested, give Verdict a follow. I like the dude. He does a lot of polls, which I'm always answering, and he comes up with some really, really good ones. I say give the guy a look, and you might like him, and you might want to follow him on Twitter. I think he's a good dude. But he wrote a tweet on Twitter to Tim Dog. Now, if you're unfamiliar who Tim Dog is what I would consider literally the almost ultimate Xbox fan you could possibly want and know. I've had the pleasure of working with him on several shows. I'm trying to get him on Breakfast with Boom. We've had some scheduling issues, but he sent a tweet to Tim Dog, and this is what he said. Do you think that the Outer Worlds sequels will be exclusive to Xbox in the future, or something like Minecraft on numerous platforms? Now, if you're wondering why any games from Obsidian are releasing on the PS4 platform, before the very public purchase by Microsoft, the company that had a binding contract agreement with them is Take-Two Interactive. It's part of their indie division. And I just wanted to confirm a couple of things. Now, when I heard this question, I immediately put on my detective hat, and I started digging some stuff up. And I personally have confirmed that Obsidian Entertainment is in fact the owner of the Outer Worlds franchise, and here is the researched evidence. Now, I pulled all of this information from Justia Trademarks. The serial number for the Outer Worlds is 877-69046. Now, that means nothing to us, but the rest of the information should be a little bit more credible. Wordmark, the Outer Worlds, filing date 1/24/2018. The attorney handling this was Jonathan Pierce. Law office assigned code was L80. The employee name who filed for the ownership of the Outer Worlds is Ashley D. Hayes, and current trademark owners of the party name, Obsidian Entertainment. Now, I'm going to say this new information that I'm giving out there, and I haven't heard anyone else talking about this, which is why I'm even more excited to bring it up on this show, because I like being the first to talk about Xbox stuff, should calm the fears of every Xbox owner who will or have asked already the question if the Outer Worlds sequels will be on a platform exclusive should it become a successful franchise. Now, Drew, I want to go to you. First of all, you and I were both very impressed from what we saw. I think that what they're doing at Obsidian really throws a monkey wrench into what they're doing at the Fallout franchise, people. They have a space game coming out very similar, and with the way Fallout 76 was handled and everyone complaining about the engine, and I'm being one of them, I don't know if that title is going to have any legs, because Obsidian's game, The Outer Worlds, will be out next year, and we know that we've already seen it up and running, and it looks fantastic. What are your takeaways from this new evidence that not only are they the actual owners of the name and the trademark of the Outer Worlds, but your takeaway with the fact that if it becomes successful, it will be an Xbox One exclusive?
Well, firstly, I'd like to just say that the trailer looks phenomenal. This is the thing, you can tell, and this is something I'm making this point now because it'll fall in line with the next point I'm going to make. But you can tell just by the trailer that this game has been worked on for quite some time, and that's why it's no shock to me at all that it's going multi-plat, because the Obsidian acquisition is fairly recent.
Yes.
We can all agree.
Yes.
And obviously, for anyone who's concerned, or obviously Boom has now confirmed it and has hopefully qualmed your concerns. But for people who might have been concerned on, wait a minute, I thought Obsidian was owned by Xbox. Why is this? Why is that? Why is it on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC? Well, you can imagine it. What you got to understand is this game's been on work for a while. You can just
they started working on this. Just FYI, I don't mean to cut you off. They started working on this game in 2016.
Oh no, you can tell. You can tell this game has been in the works. I was going to say for at least a year, but if it's been in work since 2016, that is 2 straight years, guys. We're about to go into 2019. That is 2 years solid. Sorry, God, that's how great my maths is, Boom. We're going into the 3rd year of this game's development.
Yes,
it's been so that you can tell by the trailer. So the fact that the acquisition has come so recently, within the last 6+ months, maybe, it's no shock to me at all that this game is going to all platforms. Now, as Tim Dog back and forth with the guys at Obsidian, we have confirmation that the game will in fact be an exclusive if it be a success. But on the question of its success, Boom, I honestly think, and you did just mention it, you took the words right out of my mouth, but I've got it in my notes here. Is this going to be the Fallout replacement?
Oh, that's a wow, dude. You know what? Those are words that I did not think in my mind or put together verbally. That is a really incredible question.
Mate, honestly, it was the first thing that came to mind. And I put on my notes as well, what better time than now after the poor state Fallout 76 is in? People have been screaming for a good... People love Fallout. I don't personally, but I can understand why people do. People love Fallout. And for me, they've been resting on their laurels using the same buggy engine, just like Call of Duty has with all their games for the last decade plus. I'm just wondering if Obsidian have landed on an absolute gold mine right now, and they're bringing us the game that people have been asking for. Just a clean, well-polished, revigorated, brand new, booming, Fallout-esque title, but in the words of Outer Worlds. Now, like I said, Boom, I'm no hypocrite. I've never looked at Fallout and thought, I'm going to grab that game. And Outer Worlds being very similar, call me a hypocrite, but looking at that trailer, for reasons I can't quite explain, because it does have that Fallout look.
It does, yes.
It's really grabbed my attention. And I think a lot of people, especially Fallout fans, who, let's be fair, can't be anything but disappointed with the recent showings.
Yes, absolutely.
I think Obsidian have made the perfect type of game at the perfect time. And I wouldn't be surprised, just answering the question, will it be a success? It's going to be a success. And the fact that we've got it as a secured exclusive, if it is successful, is amazing. And it's in a very unique position as well, because people on PlayStation are in fact going to buy this game. Whether you're a hardcore PlayStation fan or a casual who doesn't even know if that this game might have sequels or not, they're just like, I'll play that. People are going to have this is a unique opportunity for Xbox, because people are going to be demoing this game on PlayStation.
Yes.
And then when they're like, oh my God, this game is incredible. This is awesome. Oh, I can't wait for the second one. It's like, oh, cool. There is a second one coming, but you're going to have to buy an Xbox or subscribe to an Xbox service for this game. And then Xbox makes a clean cut amount of money for that. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fantastic. But did you give me 2 questions, Boom? I know I answered one of them.
No. You know what? I don't remember if I did, because I'm so into this particular conversation. But I have to say this, okay? And I have this on confirmed information, which I cannot reveal the source. Okay, so get ready. Apparently, when Microsoft went to Obsidian before the purchase, they saw this. They saw the Outer Worlds and they were impressed. But don't you know, that's not why they did the purchase. It's the second secret game that they're working on that made them say, let's do a deal. Now that has me, like I always say, and I don't get tired of saying it, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. All right. And you know what? That's how excited as a gamer. Like I said, when you hear me talk and my voice kind of pitches a little bit, that is not an act. I'm a gamer just like you guys who just so happened to put a show together and got lucky enough that people actually like what I have to say. So I'm just as excited as you. So when I'm doing these stories, when I'm sitting up till 2 o'clock in the morning writing, I'm the hype levels, are just through the roof. So I'm glad that we're here talking about it. But let me tell you something. The reason why this has that Fallout look, I believe his name is Tim Kaine. He is the original creator of the Fallout series, Fallout 1 and 2. Now, he had nothing to do with 3. That was Bethesda. Bethesda, did 3. They contracted out New Vegas to Obsidian, PS, by the way. And they did 4, which was, a great, a good title in its own. They added a lot of things. And Fallout 76, love it, hate it, or whatever, it's a stumbling point for the company. I think that personally for Bethesda, this may be that humbling moment in gaming history that we look back and say, you know what, they needed that to happen so they could understand that, like you said, great point, resting on their laurels, because the same thing happened to Ubisoft. We were getting Assassin's Creed every year. Unity came out, it bombed, it was a mess. And what did they do? They took that 1 year off after the game that came after Syndicate with the brother and sister, which was fantastic, and they brought us Origins, and now we have Odyssey. And if you look at my gamer score, I'm missing 3 achievements from the entire game, and the only reason why I don't have them is because they're not live yet. But getting back to Obsidian, I think right now, if you're an Xbox fan, this is a great time to really get excited about the acquisitions. This one in particular, because we know what they can do. And if Microsoft saw something, which they're not talking about, in the background, that super secret game that said, let's make this a purchase, it's going to be big and it's going to be an exclusive. So if you have nothing else to add, Drew, I'd like to move on to the next topic. What do you say?
Well, I can't. I literally, Boom. I physically cannot jump on your back on some of the things you just said. It would not rest well. I would not sleep tonight if I just moved on to the next topic and didn't jump on what you just said.
By all means, go ahead.
But literally, like you just said, like the fact that it wasn't even Outer Worlds that caught their attention. It was another game. Like, wow, what? Like, that's the first I'm hearing of this. Like, Outer Worlds is enough to pretty much, that's fair. Like, just looking at that trailer, that game had color, it had depth, it had comedy, it had everything that people love about the classic Fallout titles, like Fallout New Vegas, which is in fact an Obsidian title, arguably one of the better Fallouts, I've been told. So Outer Worlds is the far cry for what people have been asking for from the guys who fundamentally do Fallout, and that's not what got their attention at Xbox. I'm sorry about Boom, but that just speaks volumes for me, man. It's like, if it's not Outer Worlds that got their attention, what the hell else are they making? Like, it must be very good. So if that doesn't get people excited, I don't know. Because Outer Worlds looked phenomenal. It looked very, very good. It piqued my interest, and I'm not even a Fallout fan. So what does that say about whatever else they're working on? That's all I can say. Carry on.
Well, no, I mean, you think about this for a second. We saw a trailer. It didn't show the whole game. It showed us some things. It certainly whet the appetite. I mean, if you were sitting down to dinner, I'm gonna pull a moochism here and involve food. And if you go into the restaurant, you sit down, the bread comes, you eat the bread, it's warm, it's gonna put the butter on there, everyone's excited. But then the appetizer comes and it's the cheese sticks, right? The mozzarella. You're like, yes. This is what I need before the main course. Well, that's what we got with the trailer. And I'm going to say this. The trailer looked very polished. And we don't know specifically when in 2019 it's coming out. For all we know, it could come out in May. It could come out in August. Hell, it could be even a title that's for the holidays. And with what we saw with the polish already, could you imagine what they're going to do to the finished games? And obviously, it's probably going to have some sort of Xbox exclusive DLC in some form or fashion because they're now owned by Microsoft. And if it was if the shoe was on the other foot and it was a Sony owned title, you would imagine that would be the same thing as well. So good on Microsoft for purchasing Obsidian. I think it's a big deal. But you know what? New Scarlet details and specs revealed that recently leaked. And this story I pulled from comicbook.com, literally one of my favorite websites. If you don't know who they are, seriously check them out. If you, like I said, I like Marvel, I like DC, I like comics, but they have such amazing. Whoever does the gaming part of that particular website really knows their stuff. So I pull a lot of stories like this particular one. Now, some new details on Microsoft's Project Scarlet have potentially surfaced via Thurrott's Brad Sams. Now, if you don't know who Brad Sams is, look this dude up because he is as important to stories as Colbert is. The guy really knows his stuff. And he has a notorious history of leaking official Xbox information way ahead of time. So, according to Sam's, Microsoft is still aiming to release the console during 2020, which has been rumored to be the case, and is when Sony is apparently shipping the PS5. Now, there has been a recent story that the PS5 will be in 2019, but that is for another show. This is an Xbox show, so I'm going to continue. Unfortunately, Sam's doesn't disclose when Microsoft will unveil the Xbox One X2, but you would presume it would be sometime in 2019. I'm thinking that because Sony pulled out of E3 and really dropped the ball for their fans, I think Phil Spencer is going to show up at E3 with with the Scarlet in his back pocket, and he's going to be dropping nukes left and right. But in addition to the reinforced reports that Microsoft is gearing up to ship a diskless Xbox One next year, Sam's also reinforces the reports that in addition to a traditional console release, Xbox Scarlet will offer a streaming-only alternative for a considerably lower price. And I think this is a big deal. We've talked about this on the show before. With this, players won't physically own a piece of plastic with computer parts smushed inside, but rather have access to a streaming platform that allows them to stream Xbox Scarlet games they acquire. And I think we're talking about Project xCloud. Sam's also mentioned something called Digital Attach, which will be a new way to purchase hardware from the company. With it, when you decide to buy an Xbox Scarlet, you'll be able to customize the purchasing options. Drew, what are your takeaways from this?
What, the fact that you're going to have more options? Hello? Boom?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. Go ahead.
Oh, so I couldn't hear you then. I thought you'd gone. No, I answered you. I said, what you mean the fact that people are going to be given more options?
Yes, that again, I probably should have led this topic in with options are the answer. But I kind of just wanted to read the article and I kind of want us to really strategically break it down.
No, it's fine. The fact, first of all, you mentioned Brad Sams with the PS5 and the Xbox, but specifically Xbox. It might be shown in 2019. It might not. It's aiming for a 2020 release. I got to say this, just on the piggyback on what you said again. I'm 99.999% certain it'll be shown at E3. Let's be fair. What better time to show the Xbox 2 and to have Xbox on everyone's mind than the biggest gaming show on earth? That PlayStation isn't even attending. Let's just say that again as well. So what a great time to do that. But I had to get out of the way. I think the end of E3 2019, an Xbox 2 unveiling, like the classic OG with a glass box and a black blanket over it, that'd be a pretty mic drop moment. But I had to throw that out there first. Now, What is the next bit you were saying, Boom, regarding that bundling thing where you can choose your bundles and stuff?
Yeah, it's an option that we've heard about this before, and new information has again leaked. You have to understand, folks, none of this is confirmed at all. These are two industry insiders that kind of throw little breadcrumbs out there, and YouTubers like us talk about it, and we make our own speculations and opinions on it. So remember, none of this is confirmed. Please take everything with a complete grain of salt. In regards to the bundle, recent leaks suggest that you'll be able to logistically, they're going to have multiple versions of this, this next Xbox, the Xbox One X2, Project Scarlet, whatever you want to call it. You're going to probably have your hardcore system that's going to be the $500 under your TV, physical box that has all the bells and whistles. And then you're probably going to have your, deck of cards xCloud that's going to use the Azure servers to stream the games. And apparently, based on what we've heard, there's literally going to be no difference. Like there's not going to be lag. You're going to be able to have the exact same power. Now, obviously, you're probably not going to be able to run a game in true 4K running at 60 frames per second on the deck of cards version. I would imagine that in order to pull off that magic, you would actually need the box underneath your TV. I'm not a developer, so I'm only talking about what I read, and I read a lot, so I could be 100% wrong, but the fact that we're going to have options as gamers, like I said, I think it's not really understood correctly, when you talk about it, because I know when this was originally discussed, people were like, "Oh, just a second, hold on, I'm a consumer and I'm confused. Microsoft is doing it all wrong." You see, and I don't think it's talked about enough that if you put out the correct information, which they have been doing. Okay, we know the information was wrong in 2013. We know the people that were running Xbox are no longer there, right? We know that they've kind of shed the skin of all the shit, and now Phil Spencer is running the show. And we have a topic on how he actually saved Xbox, which we're going to get into in a little bit, which is very interesting. But in regards to this particular topic, look, gaming is expensive, man. You know what I'm saying? You take a guy like me, like I'm retired, and on paper, that shit sounds great. But when you get one check a month, you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure, you got to make some real sensible decisions when it comes to making sure that the bills are paid and still having a little bit of fun money. So even a guy like me, of course, I'm getting Xbox One X2, the console version, underneath my TV box, but I'm also probably going to go out and buy the xCloud for the bedroom. And again, what they're looking to do is make it affordable for every gaming household, no matter what your budget is. And I don't think that could be undersold. What are your takeaways from that, Drew?
Well, the thing is, Boom, like what you're in a nutshell, like what you're saying is they are going to be catering for just about every person and
Yes.
in every circumstance. Like if you're a guy on the road who just wants something they can just chuck on the side of their telly, or something, or they want to stream it to a tablet or anything like that. I don't know, that you're going to have that, like, sort of like put in place. But if you're the guy like myself, I'm not poking fun or pointing the finger. I'm one of these people. But if you're one of the people like myself who wants to have that static box, that actual box under your TV, which you can put a disc in, or and then obviously maybe they'll have a version of just a box but without the disc drive. But you are a person who wants to have that box.
Right.
The fact they're giving you options, different bundles, different price points, like entry models all the way up to your premium models, like the Xbox One X is right now. Like, once again, you're always going to have your crowd of haters who line up with pitchfork and torches. And a lot of those people aren't even Xbox fans. They just live and die by the sword. The first thing they think about when they wake up and the last thing they think about when they go to bed is, oh, what can I tweet out to make Xbox look like assholes? That's all they care about. And these are the people who are going to hate, throw shade. and I get it to an extent. Like, you know, it's different. You know, it's this, it's that. But bottom line, how can anyone truly pull hate out of their ass when it comes to options? Good options, options for the guy at the bottom of the barrel who is struggling financially. And believe me, I am one of those people. I'm not looking down my nose at that said person. I am one of those people. I'm not made of money. If
Right.
there's an option for me to be playing Xbox games at the highest quality for the lowest price, believe me, that is probably the option I'm going to be going for. Unless at that time of my, you know, maybe things are a little bit better financially and I can afford to go higher on the premium ladder. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Like, I can't look into the future. But my point is, Boom, there's nothing wrong with options. And I love the fact that Xbox is constantly trying to cater for every gamer.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what? I kind of just want to finish reading a little bit of this article that I found very, very interesting. In regards to the actual box underneath your TV, the innards of the system, Sam's claims that it's going to be based on AMD's Zen 2 technology, which isn't surprising, especially when you consider AMD's long history of working with the Xbox. Furthermore, the system will utilize AMD's next-gen GPU tech, which has yet to be revealed. So that's also really big. Now, according to Sam's, he also says that internally the aim at Microsoft is deliver a console. Remember, box underneath your TV that provides straight up 4K at 60 FPS on every game, which current systems can deliver. But obviously, there are some serious expectations to the rule at the particular moment. Now, I'm going to say this. With the information provided in this particular story, it appears that Microsoft's Project Scarlet will be releasing in 2020 and have multiple SKUs at launch, giving their potential buyers, i.e., everyone here in the chat, lots of choices. And the last time I checked, Wells, being able to choose was a good thing. I don't know how it got twisted into being, you know, something that no one cares about. There's still a lot to unpack here. But what else do you want to add before we move on to the next topic?
Well, I don't know if you saved this particular question for another topic, Boom, but I have a lot to say with regards to the people who might be, as you put it in the tweet earlier, in the DM, scared of the digital next gen.
No, I actually let's. I don't have it as a topic, so let's roll into that because I think it's a great talking point.
I just want to throw this out, and this is right up there with the hashtag options, baby. And it's quite simple. I gave it some thought, and maybe people listening, you might be one of these people in the chat who, you know, part of this gaming populace that are just not ready for the changes that are coming with digital and streaming and these different options. But maybe this will calm your nerves because I gave it some thought, and you know, but bottom line, unfortunately, you are always going to have people who are too scared to try anything new. That is the nature of the beast, isn't it, Boom? Like that's But fortunately, though, you will always have forward thinkers, and that is in life in general. Like that is just generally in life. That is not just the case for Xbox or gaming. At the end of the day, if we didn't have these people pushing for things to improve, change, and ultimately grow, then the main form of transportation today would still be horse and carriage.
Very well said.
Honestly, man. And on that same analogy, in 2018, while there are still pedal bikes, buses, cars, motorbikes, and even planes or helicopters to choose from in terms of transportation, there is still, to this day, Boom, the choice to use a horse and carriage. It's not a popular choice, but it's still a choice nonetheless. So my point is, ultimately, Xbox is not robbing you of choice. It is merely expanding your option pool.
Yes.
You can still buy a classic Xbox console with the disc drive the same way a person can still use a horse and carriage for the transport today if they wish. So I know that was kind of a funny, analogy, but it's true. Xbox is the home of options, people. And end of the day, you can't hate Xbox for wanting to build upon their product and get bigger and innovate and just go further with it, creating options for more people. The people who are hating and the people who are scared, I get it to some extent, but don't hold back a growing organization, a growing, a growing company, because you'll be sorry in the long run if everything just stayed the same. The same way the man and the woman and the kids who like to go on holiday to Spain and Jamaica every year would be sorry if they still had to travel from here to the nearest shop on a horse and carriage. If they couldn't get on a plane and go abroad, they'd be pretty fucking sorry with themselves. So,
when you say it out loud, it really is funny. I got to be honest with you.
It's true though, isn't it? Like you've got to progress. You've got to let birds fly. You can't leave it caged up. You've got to let it spread its wings, and that's what Xbox is doing. It's broadening the scope, and it's helping the gamer. The gamer's only going to benefit. But that's all I can say. That is the last thing I got on that topic. I gotta be honest, I did giggle a little when I was putting that bit together, but I think it's very apt. People need to understand what I'm saying. All jokes aside, it's the truth, and that's why the future is more exciting than it should be daunting.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, at the end of the day, gaming, and I want to reiterate this: it's an expensive hobby. There are lots of games that come out. We obviously know that the new hardware SKUs will be here before you know it. Some are suggesting PS5 2019, but we know Microsoft is looking for a 2020, next gen refresh, if you will, and having multiple consoles for people to afford. Like, if you want to be a part of this next generation, and you're a hardcore Xbox gamer like most people in the chat, and you and I are, we're gonna find a way to get the next physical box, even if that means trading in the X to get this, the Scarlet, to lessen the blow a little bit. We're gonna figure it out. But they're trying to reach the casual market, and you know what, this, I don't really want to go too much into this because I actually have this. It's going to be a topic on one of my shows. I'm working on it right now, and it's just, there's a lot of background stuff to research before I bring it out, because when I do these shows, there's a lot of work on the back end. And when I come up with the specs and information, I want to make sure that it's right. And the topic I'm looking to do in the future is the casual versus the hardcore. Real quick, when you look at the PlayStation 4, there's no denying what they've done in this generation. But their mainstay of the near 100 million that they're eventually going to get in consoles sold, man, I'm going to say that there's probably around 60 or 70% of that a casual market. Whereas, Microsoft really kind of just has that hardcore following. It's once you tap the vein of the casual, it's you're just going to be printing money. So that is what Microsoft is looking to do with the xCloud service. If they offer a deck of cards box that fits underneath your TV, that's 100 or 150 $50, and it plays everything on Game Pass, and of course all the newer titles. That's that casual market that they're looking to get, and that's why they're moving in a direction in the next generation where options are going to be a wide base, because they don't want just the hardcore buying Xbox products. They want that casual market. So I think the route that they're going is good. But I want to move on to the next, because my God, we've already went through an hour of the show, and I literally feel like we just started. But this topic, I took a long time writing about it, a lot of information to get through, so I want to jump right into it. Xbox boss Phil Spencer made gaming matter to Microsoft, and every Xbox gamer should be happy that he did. Now, this story I pulled from VentureBeat.com, and this is what they had to say. Phil Spencer was on stage for a discussion at the Barclays Global Technology, Media, and Telecommunications Conference. My God, say that twice fast. In San Francisco. Here, he explained that Microsoft's gaming division generated more than $10 billion in revenue for the first time in its 2018 fiscal year. Gaming ended that 12-month period as a 9.4% of Microsoft's total revenue, and that's a big deal because Microsoft is a big company. Now, you may have noticed that Xbox boss Phil Spencer is throwing around Microsoft's hefty wallet. The company has made a total of 7 acquisitions, as well as creating a brand new one called The Initiative in 2018 to shore up its first party game development. And Spencer explained that he earned the right to do this because Microsoft's executive team is more interested in gaming now than it has ever been. Understand that statement for a second, Welsh. The Xbox has been around since 2001. And in 2018, 17 years later, they have finally turned the corner where he made gaming, the Xbox gaming division, something important. What are your takeaways from that powerful statement?
It is a powerful statement, Boom. Like one of the main things you said was what did you literally just say? You were talking about the dev initiatives, the quadruple dev, the initiative, and then
The 7 studios they acquired this year
yes,
was all part of that.
yes, and then you said something like Phil Spencer
He earned the right.
the
He earned
right.
the right. Yes, that is
He
correct. Yes.
earned the right. Now, guys, everyone listening, he earned the right. Think about that for a second. Boom. What year did you say the Xbox, the original Xbox, came out?
2001.
2001.
Yes.
That's a pretty hefty amount of time between now and then, guys. And it's only now Phil Spencer has earned the right, and Microsoft in turn has made, and its executives and the whole team is making Xbox and gaming bigger than ever over there at Microsoft. Think about this for a second, guys. For me, Boom, you're asking me what I think. That is a powerful statement. And everything I just like zeroed in on with a magnifying glass, Sherlock is out again. All the evidence points to one thing, and that is that Phil Spencer has always been and currently is the right man for the job.
Yes.
Every trial and hurdle he has faced, all the polarizing articles from the biased media, adversity from the gamers, and obviously the haters. But he has never wavered and has always kept his integrity with one constant goal in mind, and that was to show everyone what Xbox is made of. He has literally and incredibly had a major impact and influence on the team at Xbox, the fans that look up to them, the people under him that follow him, and more surprisingly, and most importantly, the people above him. Satya Nadella, the CEO, being just one of them. Now, with a man leading the charge with that kind of influence, that kind of ability to rally people around him, this is why Xbox is succeeding. Despite the fact it's got maybe a third of the units sold, if we're getting on that bandwagon, bottom line, Xbox is succeeding. The revenue, the numbers, the active users, just everything. This 2018 alone proves this. With acquisitions, all the different studios, the E3s, the wave they're riding on. And I stand with this one point, Boom. That was a powerful statement and all evidence to everything that's happened between 2001 to 2019. Now is Xbox's time to shine more than ever before, and it is really down to Phil Spencer. It's phenomenal stuff, man. And as an Xbox fan and as a gamer, someone who can't wait to see it just thrive, we have got some hefty, exciting years ahead of us, and
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. I couldn't wait to speak on this topic, Boom. Not because believe me, I love hearing the sound of my own voice.
I love it.
But I just couldn't. I'm sorry, but I just couldn't wait to just get all that off my chest because once again, you posed a question, Boom. and it got the cogs turning, and this is nothing but good, man. This is epic. And for any haters out there, you can chew on your hate stick all day long.
Chew
This
on
ain't
it.
changing.
Yes.
This
Not
ain't
tasty.
changing. You can say whatever you want, tweet whatever you want. Everything I just said, that statement Boom just read out, the 10 billion in revenue in this fiscal year, that is fact. What you're chewing on is just pettiness.
Well,
What we're saying
I got
is
news
fact.
for you, dude. More information on this article is gonna. If you thought that the first part of it tickled your fancy, just wait. Now, while on stage, Phil Spencer had this to say: "We've acquired and started 7 new first-party studios in the last year. We obviously don't do that without tremendous support from Satya and Amy." Spencer continues with, "Amy Hood, our CFO, likes to tell me that I've made, in air quotes, the spreadsheet during a fireside chat via CNBC." And this is what he also had to say. "So she's going to pay attention to the Xbox division moving forward." Without sounding facetious here, Drew, this was a major turning point for the platform in 2018. And of course, I'm glad it happened. Let's break down the importance of Phil Spencer's influence to not only Satya Nadella, but the CFO of Microsoft, Amy Hood. I mean, listen, you got to understand something, folks. Okay. The reason why I sit here and I do these stories is because at my core, as a gamer, when you cut me, I bleed green. Yes, I enjoy my PlayStation first party games. Of course, I'm always talking about Nintendo. Hell, I just bought 3 new Switch games. I love it. But at my core, I'm an Xbox guy. So when Microsoft was failing in 2013, 14, and 15, even as a little part of 16, I was dying inside as a gamer because I want them to win. I don't need them to be ahead of Sony or ahead of Nintendo, but I want them to give to the fans what I think we've earned as being, diehard gamers with the brand. And having Satya Nadella, who is the head dude at Microsoft, and of course, once again, Amy Hood, the CFO, on your side, giving you the okay to make these big purchases, to change the way people look at Xbox in the future, is really his influence to these people cannot be understated. Drew, I kind of want to elaborate on not so much Satya Nadella, because we know that Phil sits on the right hand side of him, but Amy Hood, who is the CFO, she's in charge of the money. She making the spreadsheet. Do you know how big that is? That's another powerful statement.
Well, literally, I go right back to what I said about the incredible influence he's had. For him to get on the right hand, get on the right side, get in the good books of someone with that kind of leverage, that says a lot about the man and his leadership skills, and it speaks for itself. And in the chat, I've got people like DJ Singh who said, and I quote, "People have been telling me since 2013 that Xbox is dead. Yet I'm still here."
Great statement, DJ. Great statement.
I had to say it out loud. That was all DJ Singh, and I'm going to back that horse all the way by saying you are right. And Xbox hasn't just proved these people wrong. It's gone one step further and gave that same exact horse that we're betting on about 20 carrots to chew. Because it's just keeping the guy energized, keeping the horse going. He's going to do another 50 laps of the bloody field. This company ain't stopping. I've said it before, Boom. It's an unstoppable train. And for them to come out and say, you got Satya Nadella, CAO, on his right hand side. You've got this girl. What's her name again? Amy Hood. Amy Hood, the one who is frankly in charge of what goes in, what comes.
Yeah, she's the CFO. She runs all the money.
That is incredible. That is a phenomenal thing. And frankly, what that puts things into perspective now. When we discuss the developer acquisitions, she would have had to give Phil the thumbs up.
Yes.
Yep, go ahead. I trust you. When he comes back and he's like, I've been looking at what Obsidian have been working on. They've got a game that they're currently ready to announce at the next award, Outer Worlds, but they're also working on blah, blah, blah. I've seen it. It looks amazing. You'd be an idiot not to give me that money. Phil, I completely agree. Here's a check. Go run it to them now. Go let them know that we're going to acquire them. Like, to have that kind of pull says a lot about Phil, says a lot about what they're doing over there at Microsoft and how focused they are on the gaming side of things. And the fact that they're more focused now than ever, boom. How can you not be excited about that? It's incredible.
Yeah. It's like I said, we are going to be in for a treat come the next gen. We obviously, I think that we had a pretty solid 2018. Again, some of the games that released may not be your bag, and I get it, but at the end of the day, we still had a good year for and I say good, I don't say great. I think next year, I think 2019 is going to be a great year for Xbox because we have bookends with Crackdown 3, which looks amazing. And at the end of the year, obviously, Gears 5, which is going to be a freaking masterpiece. I cannot wait. So we don't know what's going to kind of be in the middle. I know we have Ori and the Will of the Wisp. That's going to be a big deal. Going to Game Pass is a big deal. But we don't know what else they have sprinkled in. And I think we're going to be surprised. But I want to move on to the next topic, and keeping with the Game Pass, another Xbox Factor show, and another topic involves Xbox Game Pass, and I'm not going to stop. And here's why. December is going to be big for the service, and the lineup is incredible. Now, before we go into talking about Ashen, and we're going to probably close out the show with that because we have a lot to say, I just want to give the fans the 11 titles. 11 games are going into Game Pass for the month of December. So let's break it down. December 4th, we saw Mutant Year Zero. Now, if you're a fan of like that tactics-based game, this game is incredible. I am playing it. I want you to know I suck at it, and I'm dying a gazillion times, but I still love it. December 6th saw 2 games. The Strange Brigade, which is actually really fun to play. I want to play co-op with the community on that. That looks to be fun. And of course, Ashen. We've all been waiting for it. I thought it was stealth dropped a little bit. I kind of feel like Microsoft might have missed the boat with the advertising on the game. I think it deserves it. December 7th, this is for UK Dazarus. He already owns the title. He probably has a tattoo that he's preparing to get for MK11. But Mortal Kombat X is in the service. That's a big deal. December 13th, we see PES 19, which is obviously a football game. Not in the traditional football NFL sense, but the football for all of our UK followers. That's the proper way in saying it. Then we have Sprintress Mud Runner, which I think is supposed to be like a racing game. And I know I've heard some people talk about it. December 11th, we saw Kingdom 2 Crowns, which I don't know what that is. And December 14th, which is tomorrow, we have Below, which is another game that is turning some heads. It's been in development a while, but it looks like it's going to be a good one. December 17th, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice comes to the service, and I'm going to tell you this, Drew. We talked about this on the show before. If you've never played Hellblade, my God, you missed out on a good title. Please play that game. Download it if you have Game Pass. But I'm going to give you a word of advice. If you have headphones, you must play that game with headphones because it really changes the way you will look at this title. And last but not least, on the 20th, we have Ori and the Blind Forest, which is amazing, and Shadow Warrior 2. Now, real quick, this again, Microsoft doesn't pay me for this. I wish they would, but I just want to give the fans the knowledge. Until right now, until 12/31, which is the end of the year, Game Pass is 50% off for 6 months, meaning that all you have to pay is $30 and you get 6 months. I'm paid up until the end of 2021. I bought multiple 6 months packages of it. I think it's well worth it, especially if you want, if you're a gamer on the budget, you can't beat it. But Drew, before we get into Ashen, what are your takeaways on this incredible list of games going into Game Pass?
At risk, once again, of being of putting off just about every person watching. Like, oh, that Welsh gamer, for God's sake, he don't half repeat himself. Lay off the Guinness, Welsh. You're babbling, you're bloody talking out your ass. You keep repeating yourself, mate. But no, mate, all I can say is this: what value for money, man? Like name one other service that any other platform is doing that is even close to this level of service for this level of value. There's nothing comes close. Like I've said before, the only other service that comes to mind that has no ties with Xbox whatsoever, but still the only other service that comes to mind that has this level of value for your money is probably Netflix itself.
Yeah.
And this is literally the gaming Netflix. And it just proves it time and time again. Again, we've said it. Sorry to keep repeating myself, guys. But they have totally scrapped the 100 game limit.
It's 200 games now. Yes.
Oh, Christ, I think with Shadow Warrior 2, that tipped it over the 250 something bloody game limit at this point. Honestly, it's constantly growing. I can't believe it. That's a stellar list, Boom, and the perfect month to drop most of those games as well. A lot of them have caught my eye. I'll wait till you're ready to talk about Ashen, but that is definitely a game that would have been on my radar on this list if I haven't already started playing it. It's fucking great. We'll get into that. But Hellblade, Below, and Ori, those I really can't wait to play those games. I haven't played an Ori yet, so I want to play that before the new one comes out next year. Below, I can't wait to play that tomorrow. I'm looking forward to trying that one out. And Hellblade, well, I've heard nothing but good things. But all in all, that list is great, Boom. I don't think there's one bad game on that list. I think the only one that I know for a fact is utter garbage is PES. And that's simply because it's soccer, like soccer's poo. But everything else is great. I think you're in for a treat this month, guys. And again, in terms of value for money, last month it was $1, or in my country, £1 for the whole month. And now December is, what is it? You said 50% off?
Yeah, it goes from $60 to $30 for 6 months. So you can get a year for $60.
A year? For
which is
the
$5, which is
one game.
Understand this, folks.
$5
a month for 12 months gets you at $60, and you're getting 200 plus games, new games constantly being put in, all first parties. My God, folks. Listen, if you don't have it, please take Boom's advice, take Welsh's advice, and get on this shit before the year's over.
Yeah, but honestly, I want to say this without offending anyone, but you are literally a fool if you don't take advantage of these deals. It's a steal, and you're already sitting on a list of over 200 games to choose from. It's an absolute steal. And now you're telling me that it's going to be 6 months for the price of half a game, a whole year for the price of one game. Guys, don't sell yourself short. Just do yourself a favor and do it. I can't say any more than that. Without repeating myself again, Boom, the value is unbeatable.
Yes. Now, we want to talk about one particular game, Ashen. Ashen released on December 6th. In my opinion, I want to talk about my particular, ideology when it comes to Ashen. Now, here's the thing. Boom is a fast-paced kind of gamer, like Assassin's Creed. The speed is what I really dig in a game. I do most of my killing in that game as stealth. Like I don't set off alarms and there's you're fighting 30 people. No, I do it I play the game how I played the game for years. But there's a speed to the game that I enjoy. So I tried Ashen. I put about 2 hours into it, and I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. If you can boo me all you want, it's not for me. Now, I am not a Souls fan. I've purchased every Souls game. I bought Bloodborne, and I'm terrible at them. The lumbering pace that comes with these games is something that I cannot get into. It drives me absolutely bananas. The brutality of how hard the difficulty is. And I'm a seasoned gamer. I mean, you got to remember, I started with when it was blocks and sticks in the 70s with the Atari 2600. So I've played some hard games and I've had no problem. But these games, I don't know. I just really can't get into it. So I heard that Ashen was going to be Souls Light. Let me tell you something. Whoever said Souls Light is full of shit. The game is just basically a Souls game with characters that you have a buddy with you and they have no face. Now, I'm going to say this. Ashen is gorgeous to look at. There's really a tremendous amount to like here, but for Boom, it's just not my kind of game. So I put 2 hours into it. I died. Oh my God. I lost count how many times I've died. And it's just, I've understood that people are going to enjoy it. And I'm very happy for you if you do, in fact, enjoy Ashen. Again, it's not for me. I think that it fits perfectly into Game Pass. I hope that this game does put Aurora 44 on the map. I know that there has been a lot of questions in regards to multiplayer and how that works. And if you're interested, go to their Twitter account. They literally just patched it and they explain how the multiplayer works. It's not your traditional kind of multiplayer where that, hey, Welsh, let's play a game, and you meet up somewhere. It's a little weird to get used to, but it does have multiplayer. But you know what? I forget what I have to say because mine was short and sweet. Welsh, I have to talk to you about this because you put out a tweet with a video, and it showed you. I think you were fighting a boss, if I'm not mistaken, and literally the boss dropped, and then you dropped, and you didn't know what to do with yourself. Please talk about the game and then your experience with that particular moment.
Well, first, Boom, I want to say this. Everyone in the chat on 3. 1, 2, 3. Boo!
I love it. I love it.
Boo, Boom, boo him. Nah, Boom. Honestly, right, everything you said sings true with me. And this is the problem, and also the thing I love about Ashen. I honestly, mate, I've never been like this with a game in my life. I have such a love-hate relationship with this game. When I think of Ashen, I think of Gollum with the ring. Like 1 minute he's damning it to the bottom pits of hell, and the next minute he's stroking it, saying it's precious. That is literally me with Ashen at the minute. It's one of those games, mate. I really don't know what to say about it. I really enjoy it, but at the same time, I want to hit my head against the hardest surface. I can't. And you mentioned one of those tweets. I've put out a few. I've been salty as hell this week. I've put out a few videos where I'm like, this game's crap. But then the next minute I'm playing it like, this game's awesome. Honestly, people who sub to me must think I'm like bipolar or something. But literally, I don't know what to say other than it's a beautiful game and I am really, really enjoying it. But literally every so often I'll be playing it in the corner of the room in my gaming corner, and my missus will look over and she'll just see my head buried in my hands, like I'm literally on the edge of collapse. I feel like I'm gonna cry. And she's like, did you die again? Like, yes, don't remind me. And then she'd be like, why'd you play that? I'm like, oh, because it's brilliant. I love it. And literally, oh man, the thing is, right, a lot of people on Twitter have been like, oh, do you know what? If you like that game, you should play Dark Souls and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I just don't know what to say to people anymore because they're telling me that Dark Souls is harder. And if my missus was here right now, Boom, and you asked her, if I got off the mic and I put the headset on her and you said, right, what does Welsh say all the time? What does Welsh say all the time? She'd repeat these exact words. She'd say, why the hell would anyone put themselves through this level of cruelty? Honestly, it's almost like this game punishes you for playing it. Like, I get it. There's games out there. This is a style of game, but this is my first ever time playing a game like this where you could be like literally the next room away from a boss. And if you die, you've got to start the whole mission again.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that, dude.
May it blow up. But I'm not knocking it because I still keep coming back. But I can totally understand if that puts off a lot of people. If that's stopped a lot of people playing it. For me, one of the individuals who's like, I get so far on my first attempt and die. I get further again on my second attempt and die. I get further again on my third attempt. By my sixth, seventh, maybe even eighth attempt, I've beat the mission. As annoying as it is to start it every time, it's enough to keep me coming back. I can't explain why. But for a lot of people, I can imagine it's been enough of a reason to not go back to that game ever again. Which I understand. But it's I don't know, it's cruel. All I can say is I really enjoy it, but it's a cruel game, man. And people are actually telling me that Dark Souls is more cruel. And
Yes.
I got one thing to say to people. You're absolutely fucking insane for playing Dark Souls. Like literally, you need mental evaluation if you find that shit fun. Because if Ashen was any harder, I'd have probably like gone to a mental hospital by now with several fractures to my skull because I've been tempted to hit my head against the wall a few times playing this game. But it always seems to have me coming back for now. I think I'm quite close to finishing it, and I hope for my own mental and physical health that I am close to finishing it because I think if the game's like any longer, then I'm gonna be in serious, like, there's danger of me like really hurting myself. But no, I know my very, very confusing review just then might have people thinking I hate the game. To be clear, I really enjoy it. I really recommend people try it. But make sure you surround yourself with a lot of happy thoughts. Maybe make your favorite beverage. If have a bowl of your favorite sweets next to you. Just anything that will immediately
comfort you.
Yeah, make you happy. So in that moment where you want to punch a glass cabinet or something, you'll be like, oh, it's okay. I got my favorite sweets and a nice cup of hot chocolate. Yeah, that'll calm me down. Honestly, that's my only advice. Play it, but be warned. If it's your first experience in a stamina-based video game where you start the mission from scratch every time you die, surround yourself with happy thoughts. Much love, everybody. Good luck.
No, I mean, listen, you make a lot of sense. There are plenty of games out in the world that most gamers will have that love-hate relationship. You know what I'm saying? They love the game. They'll love everything about it, but they hate it because of a difficulty or something. And this happens to be one of those games. Me personally, I don't want to use the H word and say that I hate it because I don't. I just understand that it's just not personally for me, and I'm willing to accept that. Again, folks, entitled gamer do not apply. Not every game is for you. Not every game that's going to release on your particular platform of choice is going to be a you game, and I think that if you can accept that, you'll be a happier gamer. But before we get out of here, I want to kind of just talk about this because during the Game Awards last week, the Epic Games Store became a thing. And we know that they're looking to really take the wind out of the sail when it comes to Steam. And apparently, one of the first casualties in this ongoing or newly started war was Xbox Play Anywhere when you talk about Ashen. Originally it was announced as one of those Xbox Play Anywhere games, and it was removed abruptly without any explanation. But I just want to read an update from Aurora 44 on their blog posts, where it states that Ashen is indeed coming to the Windows 10, Microsoft Store, and other platforms, presumably Steam, in the future, with Perna confirming that it's also going to become an Xbox Play Anywhere title as it was originally expressed. It looks as though, at least for the time being, that it's going to remain an exclusive to the Epic Game Store for PC. But, I want to give everyone the heads up. Yes, Aurora 44 has confirmed that it will become a Play Anywhere game. So if you're one of the, I don't know how many gamers actually use the service, but if you're a gamer that plays on his Xbox and on the go with your PC, you will be able to do the Play Anywhere program. I mean, do you have anything left to talk about Ashen, Welsh?
No, no. At the risk of crying, no.
Okay, well, listen. This has been a rocket fueled show. First of all, I want to thank the well over 100 watching live. That is a big deal for both Drew and I. When we started this journey, I never expected it to be as big as it was. I want to thank everybody in the chat once again. I was reading you. If I missed you, I want to apologize. I try to answer everyone that comes into the chat with a welcome or hello, because that's just who I am. I want to thank, of course, Drew. I could not do the show without you. And right now, Drew, you're taking a little bit of hiatus from the Dragon, the Dragon X podcast, and I think we've talked about that before. But your channel still exists, and every now and again, you're going to throw a video together. You had something interesting to talk about the last time, where you wanted the community's involvement in the I guess resurgence of your particular channel. Why don't you talk about that for a second, about what you're looking to do in 2019 with your channel?
Yep. No, I'll say I got two things to say. Boom. One, with quickly touching on what you just said a moment ago, the last topic. I just need to throw out there that Microsoft need to sort out their Windows 10 store.
Yes, 100%.
I'm not even a PC gamer. It benefits me none. And it's still, I find it very ridiculous. And the whole predicament with Ashen at the minute brought it to the forefront. I get it that, with Play Anywhere and stuff like that coming out, and the xCloud, that, they got things being worked on. But for God's sake, you cannot release any game and say, oh, yes, Play Anywhere. You can play it on Xbox or Xbox on your PC, and then not have a store. It's stupid. Anyway, to our outros. I just had to get that off my chest, Boom. Big shout out to the chat, big shout out to everyone. Today's show has been fire, but what Boom was alluding to is I have asked for this will be the third show now. At any time, anyone in this chat, please, if you've got a topic or anything you'd like me to talk about for an independent YouTube video on my channel, please DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open, I believe. If it isn't, I will check. Oh, they are. By all means, DM me with an idea for a video, something you'd like me to talk about. And for the individual who DMs me, if you want to stay anonymous, that's fine. But if you want me to, I can give your Twitter account and YouTube channel, if you have one, a shout out in the video. So it's a win-win. It's another way for me to connect with the gamer and the YouTubers out there and the community. I'm more than happy to do it. I have a lot of fun making YouTube videos, despite the fact I've taken quite a big break. But that's an offer out there that I'm throwing out there for the third week in a row. So please think about it, guys. And as for the show, Bill, I've had an absolute blast. It is the highlight of my week. I absolutely love it. The topics were solid. Awesome stuff, man. Loving it.
Well, thank you. Real quick, I just have to thank Michael Johnson again with the $5 super chat. And he says this: the entire conversation kills me because he's a Soulsborne games are his favorite. They're his favorite type of games in gaming. I live for them. I play it to basically relax. Wow, dude. If you play those games to relax, then you must have nerves of steel. Let me tell you something. Holy matrimony.
Jesus. To relax. That's like saying I like to lie outside when it's hailing in my pants. To relax. That's literally like... That is literally all I heard. The translation.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, that's what it is. He just must be really good at it. The one particular game that I was absolutely fantastic at was Neo. I got up to I put about 90 hours into it. I got up to the last boss. I couldn't beat him. And I'm looking forward to Neo too. So for some reason, I'm okay with Neo, but not the Souls and Born game. Bloodborne. But I buy them all. I mean, I buy them. I support the companies like a banana head, and I just suck at them. But that's okay. That's a topic for another day. I want to thank everyone once again in the chat. You guys playing nice with each other is literally what I live for. The fact that this is and I've been told this on numerous occasions, that it's the friendliest chat on YouTube. Well, that really does mean a lot to me. But you know what? That's a big thank you to everyone in the chat, because when the trolls do come around, everyone's goodness kind of they fade away. And I really want to give you guys a big round of applause for always showing up for the show, talking games with each other, having fun, hanging out. That's what it's all about. Of course, Drew, thank you once again for being here. And I want to say this. There's some big news coming for Double Barrel Gaming in 2019 in regards to adding another live show to the channel. That's all I'm going to give you guys right now. I'm kind of working on a few things. I have to contact J Dubs to see if he can do some graphics for me. I will be making an announcement early in 2019 as to where that live show is going to end up, and what is basically it's going to be about. But I'm very excited. I've gotten good feedback that the change of the channel has gone from me doing 3-minute videos to basically doing all live content. And to be completely fair, I feel more alive behind the mic. The pressure of having to perform without making mistakes is something that I live for. That's why I'm doing all live content. But listen again, thanks again for all the super chat. Thanks again for all the really positive comments. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. Have a fantastic day, everyone.
Take care, everyone.